In this episode, we'll be joined by Bonnie Zephirin, owner and founder of Castles in Paradise, a boutique villa resort in St. Lucia. During a career spanning 45 years, Bonnie, an entrepreneur and property developer, has founded several businesses which have contributed to the development of St. Lucia in many different areas. Her passion for design and building led her into the tourism and property development industries. In 1989, Bonnie started Top of World Apartments in the north of the island. In 2000, she expanded to the south by establishing the development of a 14-villa resort called Castles in Paradise. Over 17 years, Bonnie transformed the site from virgin rocky land into the area's first villa resort, which has introduced numerous international visitors to St. Lucia and provided significant employment to residents of the area. Her talent and ability to envision and create beauty in everything she is associated with is reflected in the amazing properties set in lushly landscaped tropical gardens, each with spectacular views of Savannah's Bay, Honey Bay, and the Atlantic Ocean. Castles in Paradise continues to expand with the recent addition of luxury townhouses and apartments. Bonnie's incredible tenacity to please guests, villa owners, employees alike, and to contribute to peaceful environments makes her unique and very special. Like a diamond with everlasting carats, a true role model. She continues her efforts to support and inspire people, especially to women. I'm excited to talk with Bonnie today. Welcome.
Welcome to this episode. I'm excited to have with us two incredible women. One that happens to be right now in this moment in the beautiful island of St. Lucia, while the other is all the way in the beautiful country of Germany, which is quite remarkable. And what a wonderful way to stay connected. Thankfully, we have the online. But we're all together talking about this beautiful, beautiful property in St. Lucia called Castles in Paradise. To lead us off today, this is going to be a two-part speaking series because there's so much to share that we want to do it justice. And we're going to start with the founder of Castles in Paradise, a female developer, and to speak to her from her experience. And that would be Bonnie Zephirin. Bonnie, welcome.
Thank you.
So happy you were able to join us today.
Pleasure to be here.
I want to start off with the vision of Castle in Paradise. How did that come about for you?
Wow. Okay. I try to be as brief as possible, but it's a fairly long story. Okay. I started supervising my construction from Castries from Top of the World, where I began in 1989. And then after that was completed, I actually came to a friend of mine in the Beaufort area, Savannah's Bay. He owned the entire estate. And just by chance, his driver told me that he was selling the entire estate off. Well, for me, I had to get finance and I had to go to the bank. So I, at that point, could only afford to buy 14 acres of that large estate. And when I came down to see the project, to start my project, I had all was before me was boulders and bush and old tractor parts. And it was just, you could not see anything, no roads, no infrastructure, no water, no electricity. And I happened to go by the area with the heavy bush. And through that, I saw an opening with one of the most beautiful dreams I think I've ever had. I could see the sea, I could see the whole of Savannah's Bay from this bush and rocks, and I could see a beautiful little island by itself in the same Savannah's Bay. The water was blue as the sky, and looking through this little hole, I had a dream that this would make a beautiful private development. And this is where the dream started. But it was not an easy dream, and it continued on. So this was the start of what we saw at Savannah's Bay. And it as you know, no infrastructure, nothing to give you any encouragement to move forward because it was just barren land.
That's amazing. And again, so seeing past what was really there and seeing the potential. And now I'm looking behind you and that gorgeous view is wide open, expansive. So for everybody who comes to visit or for any of the property owners that happen to own a beautiful piece of that paradise, they can enjoy that from each of their units. That's amazing.
Correct.
Amazing.
And that's just that. So not only the Savannah's Bay you're seeing in the background, it's also Honeymoon Bay and the Atlantic Ocean.
So it was actually started in two projects. The first project was I sold off on the first project 8 little spots of land, and the people did their own building. I had to bring in by DCA, Development Control Authority, electricity on my own, water on my own, and all the infrastructures I actually brought in on my own. Then I went to the second part of the development and I sold that those bits of land to have some finance to start the main project. And there I started with 2 villas, sold those 2, went on to a further 2 villas, built a swimming pool, built a pool bar, and this is how the project started. It started actually in the year 2000.
Wow. So a lot has happened since then, that whole area. And if I remember correctly too, having grown up and visiting the South, that South used to be our vacation. That 1-hour drive was the vacation because it was such a contrast from the city and to the South. There was very, very little around. So when you talk about, yes, that's correct. And then there were the little, I remember the lobster shacks and things like that. There was not much else on even available to enjoy or to see.
That's right.
We're seeing now a lot of change. And I often even tell friends and people I've worked with and other investors, even property developers, but especially women, it is possible. And I actually use your story a few times to share with them how, look, nothing's impossible. What I would love to know, and I'm hoping you might be able to share with us, is some words of wisdom or advice, especially for a female developer, somebody who is, oftentimes you're told that it's even harder for the female. For whatever reason, there are more obstacles, etc. What would you impart? What sort of wisdom or advice would you give to a woman who's looking at that arduous task of standing in front of raw land with no services, no roads? What got you through it?
Well, just before we even start, I would just tell you that I have my very best friend. She's an American in St. Lucia, and she's my good friend. And she looked at me and said, "You are as mad as hell if you are going to that Savannah's Bay." And those were her words to me, my very best friend. "You're mad as hell to go into that bush in Savannah's Bay. No electricity, no water." She knew the whole scope. But my sheer determination to do the project, to visualize what I could see in a dream, it's become a reality. But it was not easy. I went through as a woman on my own then, I went through about 11 different contractors. And the way I handled it was we did it by, I did not give them a full contract. We went by stages of building. And that was the only way I think that they would respect me and I could control the building aspect of it, the supervision. So it wasn't just a straight out contract. But of the 11 different contractors, I mean, I know the best ones now. And at the end, you always know the best ones. So, but as I say, it went, and having not big finance or heavy finance to do this on my own and having to go to the bank, then you had to deal with them because they probably were thinking, well, would she finish this or is this just not reality at all? But I know that in the end, it all came to pass.
So what I'm hearing is get very clear on your vision. Do it in such a way that you see it so clearly that when you start sharing it with others, they can see it too.
Right, and determination.
Yeah, the second, the determination and perseverance. That was very much there. And I liked what you said about taking it in stages. I think a lot of people, even investors today, sometimes they're biting off too big an amount initially.
Exactly so.
Taking it in stages. Okay.
Yes, and we have the perfect example of Le Paradis in Repos. It is what you call a fabulous project. And
fabulous area.
Fabulous area with its own marina. And all the houses are standing there, all without roofs.
It's got great potential.
If I could find a developer who had an investor, I would be happy to go along and we take over Le Paradis as well.
Mommy, come on. But there you go.
Well, you never know. I might be able to help you make that happen.
Wow.
That's what the connection is all about.
A true pioneer to the south.
It is really, it's heartbreaking when you pass there and you see the potential of that and you see it all going to the waste, to nothing. Anyway, let's go back to Castles in Paradise.
Castles in Paradise, that's right. That's what we're talking about today. So, and you have been very successful and it has been a journey. And I think, again, you were very, very clear and you kept that vision going. What type of property owners does Castles in Paradise attract?
I would say it is a middle to the upscale. It is that because most of these villas have their own private pools. And, they are well appointed. They're standalone villas with lots of beautiful landscaping all around. So it's definitely not a development where there are a whole set of houses, not a village. This is
hotel rooms.
It's a villa resort, yeah.
So
we have 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and I built 4 bedrooms. But what really has been a great success is my condo building in 2018. And this has all the businessmen more or less staying there at the moment.
So in other words, we've diversified and we have actually something for everyone, something for everyone's pocket. Even
2 wheelchair friendly apartments.
And they're huge villas. So the villas on their own are with private pools, as Mom was saying, and they're expansive roof decks. So at night, you get an amazing, amazing view of the stars at night and the moon, and it's just magical.
Yes, I remember it vividly. Absolutely, absolutely.
And that's what makes it extra special.
And would you say what part of the world do most of your property owners come from? The ones who invested in it initially?
USA and England.
Yeah.
Mainly USA, no? Canada as well.
Canada as well, but we've only really sold a few villas. We have all the others. We maintain all the others.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And looking forward, so to round this up, what does the vision now entail?
Right. My vision is to complete the project. I plan to put a gym. For the development. I also plan to build maybe another 3 villas, and that would take most of the land that we have here at the moment, apart from the Paradise.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit about your journey with us. And I really, again, appreciate the time. And it's exciting to hear how the story develops. And that is what it's all about. Understanding that we can start somewhere with something raw, see the potential and actually realize it. And most oftentimes in a lifetime. And that is very exciting. So thank you again. For those of you who are listening, stay tuned for the second part of the series as we move it forward to what is a villa vacation. And Gizelle shares with us some of the benefits of that experience. If you like this podcast, if you like this video, please press like. And if you want to listen out for the next one, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Thank you.